Hi everyone, this is a quick video to discuss the requirements and expectations for your first formal essay in this class, the rhetorical analysis essay. Before we get into that, I will briefly mention a small piece of advice, and that is keep calm and don't panic. Instead, the best way to approach your assignment is to start by familiarizing yourself with the expectations and requirements. You might print out the assignment description and keep that document and refer back to it as you work on your assignment so that you can make sure you're covering all of your bases. I would definitely recommend reviewing the assignment description again before you turn in your paper, again so that you make sure you didn't forget about any of the important requirements. I also want to talk briefly about analytical writing in general. So analytical writing refers to first analytical thinking followed by a written document that explains your analysis, right? So that kind of writing is really common in any humanities class like art, music, English, history, or anthropology. You also can run into assignments that call for analysis in communication courses or other social science or business courses. Alternatively, in your science courses, you're more likely to be writing lab reports or formal research reports. However, even in those scientific fields, you are required to do analytical thinking. So this is a really good thinking practice to develop your skills as a student in general. So analytical writing has two components. The first is that we do the analysis. Analysis essentially means to break apart. So it means that we have something that we are analyzing and we break it into component parts. Typically, we'll use some sort of framework to help us break it into parts. So if I'm writing a history analysis, I might break up a historical event into the parts of cause and effect. If I'm writing an art analysis, I might break up a painting into the parts of, color, tone, and contrast in order to talk about the image. So the second part of of analytical writing is that we also have to put it back together, and most importantly, that in that breaking apart and reassembling, we gain insight into how the parts inform the whole or work as a whole. So if I've analyzed the tone, color, and contrast of a painting separately, when I put it together, I get a better understanding of what that painting is and what kind of message it's conveying or reaction it's evoking from me, right? So that means essentially that we do analysis as a way to find evidence to support a claim about the thing we've analyzed. So that art claim might be the tone and contrast work well to create a solemn mood in the painting, causes us to reflect on our own experience, right? And then I would explain my claim with detailed observations or analysis that I've done of the painting. So in this class, for our assignment, you're going to be asked to do that same sort of analytical thinking and claim making, but by looking at a persuasive text and breaking apart its rhetorical elements. On that note, we'll look at the assignment description. First is a few important details here. The assignment should be 4 pages long, double-spaced, plus a cover page and a reference page. Sometimes people think that means 2 pages of writing, but what that actually means is 4 pages of writing plus a cover page and a reference page. So the document you turn in should be 6 pages total, not 4 pages. You can see that the assignment will be graded out of 100 points possible. If you want to see how that will be assessed, you can scroll down and read the rubric for the assignment. Reading the rubric is a great way to kind of self-assess where your paper is at and make changes and feel confident in the final product that you turn in. All right, so next thing to talk about here is the writing prompt for the assignment. The assignment asks you to compose a formal rhetorical analysis of a persuasive text. The options for your persuasive text are listed here below, and they're hyperlinked, so you could click on one of those links and start reading it. This one is not too long. I thought it was very interesting. But again, there's quite a few options that I think speak to diverse interests. However, if none of these options appeal to you, you do have the option, here it says, of proposing your own text to me via email. That means you can find a persuasive video or article on the internet, and use it for this paper, but I do want you to email and consult with me just to make sure that it's a good fit for the assignment. All right, so what are you going to do with your persuasive text? Next part of this says that you should start by analyzing the rhetorical elements of purpose, exigence, audience, constraints, and rhetorical appeals. We've done some practice with that, so this assignment asks you to use those skills, but to create a more developed essay. Again, you want to think about first that putting together the rhetorical situation that the writer is responding to, his exigence, audience, and constraints or requirements of the situation. So we're thinking about what's motivating the writer, what their stance is, and then based on that context, you want to think about what the writer does to persuade the audience. So does the writer rely on logic, emotion, reason, or do they rely on their personal character to be convincing? Do they use a mixture of those things? Do they vary their tone for the audience? Do they use a specific genre or style of writing? Do they publish it in a certain place that would be effective? We're thinking about all those choices that writers make based on the situation. So then that's your analytical work. Again, based on that analytical work, we need to make some sort of claim about the thing we've analyzed. To guide your claim-making process, I've given you some questions that you might think about answering. Your paper could answer one or more of these questions, or you might slightly change the question and answer it. So, for example, this says, does the rhetoric, like the speech or essay, address the problem it claims to address? Why or why not? If I were to use this hard truth about the Wild West horse problem, then I would say the kind of stated purpose here is to talk about a solution or those hard truths for what to do with wild horses in the West. So if I'm going to make a claim, then my claim would be either that the essay does or does not address that purpose in an effective way, and I would explain why. Alternatively, another question you might seek to answer is this speech or essay targeted at an audience who has the power to make change? Are the appeals appropriate to the audience? So if I use this example again, I would note that it was published in the New York Times, and kind of seems to be targeted toward like the broad American public. I have to think about that more as to whether that's really an appropriate audience for the article, or if it would have been better to target the article to Western populations and the senators and congressmen that represent us. But if I were to make a claim, then I would say either that the author, Chris Stewart, chose an effective publication to reach his target audience, and he used many logical appeals as well as appeals to his own character to persuade that audience. So some other details to consider are your own audience for writing the paper. Your audience for this paper is essentially an academic audience. That means me, your classmates, other scholars, is who you should have in mind as who you're writing to. That means you want to think about what our expectations are for a good paper. We expect to see something that's clear, well organized, has logical ideas and a formal tone, and citations for all of the sources. Another thing to consider is that you're not required to do any outside research for this assignment, although you may want to do outside research. For example, again, if you're writing about the hard truths about the Wild West horse problem, you might decide to fact check some of the information that the writer, Chris Stewart, has provided. That might make it easier to write the paper. Another example is that if you choose to write about the Mitt Romney speech on the list, then you'd probably want to learn a bit more about what was going on in the world and in the United States at the time that he delivered the speech. So again, it's not required. There's no specific number of sources that you need, but you might find yourself wanting to do some additional research so that you understand the text that you're reading better. Finally, we will complete a few process activities as a class, including a brainstorming or pre-writing journal assignment, but you are responsible for completing the essay on your own.